Today on episode 3 of the Lawson Brothers podcast, we're going to be talking about the dangers that lurk around the corner when we give too much weight to the things that don't really matter. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks so much for jumping in and listening to episode 3 of the Lawson Brothers podcast. We've had a blast so far, haven't we, James?
It's been phenomenal.
Yeah, let's just take a second just to introduce ourselves real quick and remind people who we are. Not that that's important, but we want you to know who is talking to you. I'm Sam Lawson.
And I am Sam's older brother, James Lawson, and we are thrilled. Thanks for taking the time to listen. I think we started this thing with not a whole lot of idea where it was going to go.
Yeah.
And then we still don't know. It's episode 3, but the fact that people are listening is encouraging. So we're grateful. I think it would be helpful here maybe just to pause for a moment and say, hey, we want to do this not because the world needs another podcast, but because we're trying to create something that will add value to your life as a listener. We want it to be fun and encouraging, but also we want it to be helpful and to be something that helps the world become a little better and brighter place. Iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
Or the other tagline, Sam.
Yeah, the other thing we know is that we don't know anything. Kind of to your point, I was kind of blown away just a few days ago, just talking to some different people. There are some folks who are actually listening to the podcast, which really just makes us want to take it a little bit more seriously on the front end. We want to make sure that we're giving you something that's worthwhile, right? If you're going to listen to it.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, can we do a quick little, maybe like a sentence recap of the first couple of episodes?
Yeah.
Somebody's jumping in here.
No doubt. Episode 1, just kind of application. God's grace. A gift that he gives us, right, is something that carries us through life. The Blue Flame Way is something that you'll hear us talking about and wishing you a happy day that was weird phrasing there, but we're going to wish you a happy day. When I washed our sins away.
Happy days. That's what I was going for. The
happy days?
Sunday,
Monday, happy
That's
days.
it. Yeah. Shout out to Arthur Fonzarelli. Yeah, Richie.
The Fonz
and Richie.
Was not expecting you to say that just then, but you took it there.
You
took it there. Old TV Land has some good classics.
Right.
Let's talk about some TV Land classics sometime.
Not today.
Yeah, Blue Flame Way.
Episode
2. I think really just spent the most time talking about our influences and how God has used every bit of our lives, every bit of your life to bring you back to Him. And that's really the big thing. We kind of landed at a place that said we want to, if we can use it like this, be students of our life circumstances.
There you go.
Does that make sense?
There you go. Learning in every moment. Eat the meat and leave the bones.
Eat the chicken, spit out the bones.
There you go.
Yep.
Whatever.
I think that sounds like a Dabo Sweeney quote. I don't know if it is, but it sounds like something Dabo Sweeney would say.
It's probably true. Dabo, if you're listening to this, we'd love to get you on the podcast.
Oh, man. All the way down in Summerville, South Carolina.
If anybody knows Dabo, send him the podcast.
I don't think people want to talk to Dabo right now. I think Dabo still might be a little bitter.
I don't know, man.
About football season last year.
He hired Garrett Riley.
Good hire.
Excited about.
He made some quick cuts though right after the end of the season.
Made some moves.
Yeah. Excited for Clemson Tiger football this next year.
There you go.
And also excited got to shout out the Tar Heels. Excited for the UNC Tar Heels. Drake May is going to return. And he's going to make a run for the Heisman. Just calling it right now. I'm calling it right now.
For Heisman?
I'm calling it Drake May for Heisman 2023. It's going to be a crazy year.
There you go.
Yeah, we want to get started this week with just one sentence that kind of captures the whole episode.
But hang on, before we get to that.
I forgot about that.
Talk about.
I did forget about that.
We're going to introduce a new segment.
Yeah.
Based on some feedback from episodes 1 and 2.
Not some. There were a lot of pieces of feedback.
A lot of feedback. A lot of feedback from episodes 1 and 2.
Feedback.
And this new segment, we bounced around a few different names, but we're going to call it Confessions.
Confessions.
And here's why.
Augustine.
In the 5th century, I think it was the 5th century. This might be for a future episode.
You're the history major at the table. You're the history major.
There was an African bishop named Augustine or Augustine, depending on how you like to pronounce his name.
Okay.
And he wrote a book called Confessions. And his book, Confessions, was deep theology, brilliant. I mean, like Augustine, when it comes to church fathers and theology, like he is brilliant. We have confessed that the only thing we know is that we don't know anything. And what we have learned from episodes 1 and 2 is that might be the only thing that we got right in episodes 1 and 2. So
that might have been the only thing we got right.
Confessions
that's true.
Is going to be a moment for us to go back and say, hey, we messed up on that one, or that one, or that one, or all of it. So, Sam, take us away with some confessions today, man.
I will. I guess confession number one. Confession number one. Wow, this list is going to be so extensive over time, dude. Episode 1, James said confidently, we're going to plan to keep this podcast between 20 and 25 minutes. Episode 2.
I think I said 20 to 30.
No. I
I
don't think you said.
Maybe I did.
You definitely didn't say 30. No, you said like 20 to 25 minutes. And episode 2 actually took the number 25 and flipped it. This was the uncut version. This was an unedited version. We landed at like 52 minutes for episode 2, which is funny and also makes sense. If you've ever been to Pinewood on a Sunday morning or downtown, you totally know one of the people talking to you is a little long-winded at times. Great content, but long-winded.
Well, if the worship leader would just quit talking in between songs and just sing the songs.
Yeah, there's some of that going on. There's some of that going on. But no, really want to try to, we do want to try to like bring it down on time. So confession number 1 is we told a story about the time. Confession number 2, Thomas Blank actually told me this at a small group, and Tori.
And he sent me a text.
And sent you a text. Well, this isn't related. We'll get to the second thing. Thomas called us out on 2 things.
There you go.
The first thing he called us out.
Thomas,
he called you. Oh man, I love Thomas. Yeah, Thomas is. His tats are sick. His tats are sick. Very inspirational as far as the tat game goes. Thomas. What? Tat game's a thing, bro. People compare tattoos and they're like, that guy has got some sick tattoos. That dude probably cried when he got his neck tattooed,
We're going to get Mom on here one day to talk about your tattoos.
Man, and we can do that. I'll save my content for that episode.
There you go.
Confession number 2 is that, remember when you said at the very beginning of episode 1, you said that this is a podcast without any edits. You said no edits. And then like the version that we released was like full of edits. I made so many jokes that I probably should not have made on a podcast that people are going to listen to.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you. It's so real. But, you know,
yeah, as
you got to
we're
let
saying
Braden edit.
Braden's sitting in the corner like, no, this is totally getting edited.
This is totally getting edited, which is fine.
That's fine. That's fine. We love Braden.
So that's 2 confessions. Third confession, and here's like the actual list. This is the actual list. List. All right. First one, to all you veterans and servicemen who are a part of the Air Force, I owe a big apology to. I was totally wrong about where integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all you do came from. I was so confident that it came from the Marines. I even put Dad's name into it. I threw Mom's name into it. I threw other people's names into it and gave them credit for something. And then Braden, a former Marine, didn't even.
Braden's like, I've never heard this before, but I'm not going to say anything.
No, he rolled with it. But to Braden's defense, Thomas did say also, a veteran, he's an active serviceman actually. He said that there are a lot of like crossover motto words.
But that is word for word the Air Force core values.
100%, yeah.
We knew Dad plagiarized the Blue Flame Way from somewhere.
He did.
We just didn't know from where.
And he plagiarized it better than we thought he did.
Word for word.
He did it word for word.
He's like, hey, that's good. I'm
straight from the Air Force, dog.
That thing right there. And I'm gonna use it every day.
He did it.
The second confession.
This is not a confession.
This wasn't you. This was me.
Yeah.
We finished recording episode 2, and Braden looked at me and said, "You need to be nicer to your brother." And Sam's like, "I've been saying that my whole life."
I've been saying that.
But then Braden followed that up by saying, Sam, you could also be meaner. So
The
I just want to clarify. I do love my brother, and I have a tendency to be overly sarcastic. It's my love language.
You got thick skin there, Jim boy, and so do I. So,
So if you're
you
listening,
throw a punch, I'm going to throw one back.
There you go. Well, if you're listening, you're thinking James is mean to his brother. I apologize, Sam, publicly, probably for the last time.
James?
And it probably will happen again.
Shake my hand, bro. That's the sweetest thing you've ever done in front of anybody. Sweetest thing.
Don't get
Actually, the other thing, you remember when you gave me your jacket at Christmas? You gave me your really nice patched camo jacket at Christmas time.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
I don't think it was 2 Christmases. Actually,
yeah, it was not Christmas 22. It was Christmas 21.
yes, it was.
No.
It was. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you just gave me your
know why I
jacket.
gave you that.
I put it on, and I guess what happens normally when I wear your clothes is I look better in them. And you're like, you can have that. And I'm like, sweet, man. I just got a lot of hand-me-downs.
Was that an insult?
Yeah, you went with it, too. You didn't even like...
I thought
it must have been true because you went with it.
I thought you were complimenting my style and saying that you look better when you put on my clothes.
I was
like it's an improvement over your normal style.
Look,
That's
dog.
what I thought you were saying.
Look.
What you were saying was that you look better in my clothes than I look in my clothes.
Look, it's like.
All right, that's enough.
It's like
third confession.
I'm glad you cut me
number
off.
3. I don't
this
know.
is
the final confession.
This is the third
day.
one. Yeah.
We have settled the overarching versus overarching debate. Our friend Meredith Provost, the PA Meredith Provost.
Meredith Provost. The Meredith Provost.
The Meredith
y'all.
Provost.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Yeah. But she left us a comment, which means that she typed it into the computer for us to read. And I think, Braden, was it posted on the Facebook post of the podcast? You got to go read it on the Facebook page.
Is it on Facebook?
But she settled the overarching versus overarching debate, and she spelled out the word and said it's OVERARCHING.
You know what I really do appreciate? You know what I appreciate?
What's that?
She usually does know her stuff, though.
She does.
When it comes to that kind of thing, like a detail like that, she knows her stuff. And so
we have no idea how she's pronouncing it.
No, she just spelled it.
She just spelled it and left a comment on Facebook.
I was about to try to spell it.
Meredith Provost.
Bad idea.
Thank you, Meredith Provost.
Thanks, Meredith.
So
appreciate it.
All right, today I'm going to intro this subject, and I'm going to kick it to you, man. Is that all right?
That was. Y'all hear the high five? You're doing it for Mike.
We don't have time for that. 10:34 a.m. right now.
That's what time is it?
So we need to.
When did we start this?
I have no idea.
Okay, let's just go. 15
minutes. 15 minutes.
15 minutes
We're
from here.
We're going to talk today about social media. Social media.
Yeah.
And just a couple of qualifying statements as we begin. Nothing is, when it comes to the social media world, it's not completely bad and it's not completely good.
Yeah.
Social media in and of itself is neutral, can be used for good, can be used for bad. We're sitting in here with Braden Kirshner, who is the social media guru. Braden has used social media so well here at Summerville Baptist Church to reach new people, to encounter people who are right now or far from God or outside of the walls of the church. And man, we've seen incredible things the last few years since bringing you on staff here. And we've seen people give their lives to Christ online, watching church online. Braden's had incredible conversations with people. And Braden's over in the corner right now pointing up in the air, giving all the credit to God. But
which is what Braden does. Braden's got a great heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And has been phenomenal using social media as a vehicle for good. And that's a great thing. But then there's the dark side of social media too. And for a lot of people, it's not a helpful thing. It's not a healthy thing. It's a vehicle for comparison and all kind of things that ultimately rob value from life rather than add value. And we're going to get to that here in a moment. I'm going to let you share some of that. But I just thought it might be fun just for a second. Can I share some?
Let's jump back for just a second.
Okay.
We want to make clear to you, like we want to clearly say, hey, this episode, like overall, is about like where our attention's going.
Sure.
Where our attention's going, and that's why we're talking about social media. At the end of episode 2, you and Braden both thought it would be a great idea to be like, we know Sam's off of social media,
right?
And you kind of asked me to talk about that. So that's kind of where this came from.
That's where we're going.
That's where we came from.
But here are some good things that I have found on social media.
Okay, let's talk about it.
You can learn some stuff.
Yeah.
This is a great meme. Have you seen the meme with the angry cat sitting behind a plate of vegetables, looking like it's like hissing at somebody? And then on the other side of the meme, there's the lady who's pointing her finger. She's highly upset. This meme, the lady pointing her finger is saying, "I can do all things through Christ." And the cat is responding, "You skip church when it rains." That was on social media, so that's a bit.
Can I look at these with you while you're doing this?
Can you see?
If you turn the screen.
There you go. Some other social media content.
There's so many pictures of Judah right now.
Yeah, a bunch of pictures.
On
I'm
James's
scrolling
iPad.
through my camera roll because I just screenshot random things. Roughly 1 in 3. This is from social media. This is the Twitter platform. Roughly 1 in 3 Americans, 32%, including nearly half of men, 46%, are confident they could safely land a passenger airplane in an emergency situation, relying only on the assistance of the air traffic control. Just 1 in 5 women say the same. So men are confident they could land the plane. Women are not confident in men to land the plane.
Tom Hanks landed a plane in the water. Do you remember that in Sully?
That was a movie. But
That
yes.
wasn't that wasn't Tom in real life. Tom didn't do that in real life.
Ridiculous.
Jokes.
This is a great thing on social media. Coffee is the richest source of polyphenols in the Western diet. If I didn't say that right, maybe PA Meredith Provost can correct.
Meredith, let us know.
Correct me there.
Polyphenols.
Polyphenols in the Western diet.
Yeah.
Coffee contains over 1,000 compounds that protect your cells and tells bad cells to die. It helps you live longer and it reduces chronic inflammation. I had 3 cups of coffee this morning, so I'm grateful to know that.
Let me propose a pronunciation.
3 cups. And I was going to, and even if that had been the opposite, I would still have drunk 3 cups of coffee.
Is that normal?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, like that's just the morning. I'll have more later. So go ahead, Sam.
I was just gonna submit a pronunciation for that word.
Go for it.
Polyphenols.
Polyphenols. Could be.
Who knows?
Could be. Could be.
Somebody knows they're gonna.
That's right. We are not biologists. Well, at all.
Or are we?
I don't know.
Is the Christian a
In
biologist?
another biology world, the Dallas
Thoughts.
Zoo recently was closed. This is from Twitter. The Dallas Zoo is closed today due to a serious situation. They have an ongoing situation at the zoo right now with a code blue. That is a non-dangerous animal that is out of its habitat. And here's the explanation of code blue, non-dangerous animal. One of our clouded leopards was not in its habitat when the team arrived this morning and is unaccounted for at this time.
Wow.
You can't open the zoo when the non-dangerous clouded leopard is walking around. And I think there was one more that I thought might be worth sharing. Oh, two more. Do we have time for 2 more?
Yeah, hurry.
1 million seconds ago was 11 days ago. 1 billion seconds ago was 1992. 1 trillion seconds ago was 31,000 BC. Social media. You can only find facts like that on social media.
And it says, let that sink in.
Let that sink in for a moment.
Let it
Last,
sink.
but certainly not least, this was actually from this morning. Beyonce was chased by a camel after her concert in Dubai last week. TMZ reports, and TMZ has the video. How about that? Can we
answer
We're
that?
going to do something here. We're going to answer the phone
Tara
right
calling
now.
and
Tara's
put her on speaker.
calling live
Put her on
on
speaker.
air.
Put her on speaker. But tell her.
Hey, Tara, this is James, obviously. Here with Sam and Braden. You're on speakerphone. We're actually recording the podcast for next week right now.
Hey, Tara.
Sweet.
So you got anything you want to drop to it? We're talking about social media right now. So any wisdom on social media right now?
No.
No, yeah, like we were literally. I have
Okay.
the phone held
Okay,
up to the
sweet.
microphone right now.
Awesome. Just get on social media while you're working. I don't know.
Don't get on social media while you're working. I love that. We talked, Tara. We talked about having you on the podcast. This is not how I thought that would happen, but this is phenomenal. This is even better.
Awesome. Hey, I gotta go. The school is calling me. That's what I was calling you about. All right.
Okay. All right. Love you.
Oh, my. That's okay to talk about. The school's calling. Okay. And she was calling you to talk about that.
Yeah. Hopefully it's okay.
Real life parental things.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Love Tara. Love Tara. Thanks for being a good sport,
Thanks,
Tara.
We love you.
Yep. Can we get into it?
Social media.
Can we get into it?
Yeah. So Sam, you made the comment last podcast that you are off social media entirely right now. Why are you off social media, and what led you to that point?
I think my first Twitter account with Do you remember my first Twitter? My first Twitter account.
I do.
Do you remember my first Twitter account?
I had not thought about that in a long time until this morning.
I don't even remember. I know it was my name. I don't remember anything else about it other than I followed like every single one of your Wofford football player teammates, and they followed me back, and I thought I was like living on cloud nine. I was talking to them.
You were probably what? 13 or 14?
No, dude. When you graduated high school, I was 10.
Right, but I'm saying, like, but in order for you to like have a phone with access to Twitter, you had to have been like 13.
Yeah, it was probably like 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah,
or 9th grade.
Yeah, and so Braden, my friends at Wofford that I played football with started like sending me screenshots, and they're like, "Is this your brother?" And it was my brother who had made himself a Twitter account and was following everybody on the Wofford football team and like messing. You know, he's DMing them, he's tweeting at them.
I remember specifically like the best conversations that I had took place between like me and James Zotto, me and Jared Singleton, Jeremy and Josh Holt,
the Holt brothers,
studs. All of them are studs. But
that's great.
Yeah.
So that was your intro to social media.
That was intro to social media.
From there, you were on Instagram for a little while. Did you ever have a Facebook page?
I had Facebook.
You were on Facebook.
I had
okay.
Facebook. Yeah.
Did you do the Snapchat thing?
I did Snapchat early in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, the first couple years of high school.
So you were. I mean, you kind of. So I didn't have a social media account until I got to college, and I made a Facebook page my freshman year of college.
That's kind of when you first got a smartphone,
that was
right?
when I had a smartphone for the first time.
For the first time in college, yeah.
Freshman year of college.
Okay.
So like I was, I was coming through school a little bit ahead of when social media really blew. Like Facebook was big. I remember MySpace being a big deal. Like middle school.
That was your space, not my space, because I
didn't have one. I never had one.
Yeah. That was a joke. Actually.
But my point there,
right.
You were coming through middle school, high school, college, like when social media really blew up.
I think so.
And like everybody, I remember Instagram going from, a couple million users to like billions of users almost overnight, it seemed like, didn't it, Braden? And then Snapchat hit the scene, and there was, Vine was in there somewhere, and
Vine was a big deal. There was a thing called Shmule, or Smule. I might be saying that wrong. Smule.
I've never heard of it.
It's basically like voice. It's like you're mouthing songs and singing along, but you can actually sing too. I think I might be wrong. TikTok before this. Okay. There was also a thing called Musical.ly. I kind of like Musical.ly. That was fun.
So all right. So back to the point.
Well, yeah, the accounts that I had for a little while, like I think were just fun. Mm-hmm. Like I think. Let me just kind of like start trying to paint a picture with my words to try to help some understanding come. Is that cool?
Buckle in, everybody.
Buckle in for
painting with words.
Buckle up, yeah, because this is how I think. I just gotta talk. I gotta talk to think. What time is it? 45?
45.
Yeah, it took 10 minutes to do all that. Take 5 to talk about this. Thank you, James, for stalling. I'm kidding. No, great stuff. Let's get into it. I think. So yeah, I'll just kind of paint the picture. Overall, I ended up getting rid of Facebook like at the end of high school.
Okay.
For no reason other than like I just thought it was a bunch of old people on it and it's news and people are pretty negative.
Yeah.
I gotta be nicer than that. I loved my Sakona friends on Facebook. I loved the people from Sakona that I was friends on Facebook. And then Snapchat.
And Braden's making notes of what to edit out. Right
Snapchat. Now. Yeah. I was really bad at Snapchat. I guess you're good if you have a bunch of streaks.
Okay.
You know what streaks are like on Snapchat? Mm-hmm. Some people legit have like hundreds of streaks.
Right. That's basically for anybody who's not aware. That's just where you're sending a picture to somebody daily and they're sending one back. That's what feeds.
Yeah, and it keeps the streak going. Yeah. You got to do it every day, kind of on a clock. Like there's a 24-hour period or whatever. Didn't really get into that. Instagram, for a long time, there was a little bit of time where on YouTube and Instagram, I thought I was going to try to become like that YouTube musician where you're just like recording.
I remember that.
Cover videos. Do you have a video? I'm going to keep talking and you pull up something. We can give people a little sample of oh, dude, I don't want to do this actually. I don't want people to know that. There's some videos on YouTube.
If you go to YouTube.
No, bro.
And you search
Come on, dog.
Law Music.
Are you serious?
Is that it? That's it. S Law Music. You can find 12-year-old Sam
playing
What Child Is This on the piano. You can find Sam.
I was older than 12, but
I don't think you were.
I actually probably wasn't.
You can find covers of Jack Johnson's Better Together and Angel.
Throw up some Better Together, dog. I had a mohawk.
Oh, man.
I had a mohawk. I remember that video.
These were recorded by Dad.
Pull it up.
The yard at the big house.
Pull it
the
up.
Red House.
Pull it up.
As Noah calls it.
I'm gonna give the listeners what they're wanting, bro.
There's no combination of words I could put on the back of a postcard. No song that I could sing, but I could try for your heart. And our dreams, they are made out of real things, like a shoebox of photographs with sepia tone love. But love is the answer, at least for most of the questions in my heart, like why are we here and where do we go and how come it's so hard? It's not always easy, but sometimes life can be deceiving. I'll tell you one thing, it's so much better when we're together.
So that was Sam's intro into the
Tomorrow night you sing.
foray, the YouTube world of recorded cover music.
I thought about it, and there was probably like 3 or 4 weeks where I did a consistent video like every week.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
It lasted a long time.
Yeah.
He's highly motivated to continue.
Goodness,
that's hilarious.
All the while, I don't even know. I did not know that you were going to do that today, and so my train of thought is just like, whoa, we're going back in history. I got it.
So to go from that point to where, like, you're like, oh, I'm on these things. My friends are on these things. To now to where you said, hey, I need to be off.
Well,
what made that journey?
It's important.
How did you make that journey?
I want to clarify the fact that some decisions that I've made recently have been decisions that I've made that are related to more than just social media. A lot of stuff plays into why I'm thinking the way that I'm thinking.
Sure.
Why I'm believing the way I'm believing. God's word, all that kind of stuff plays into decisions like, hey, social media is probably not the best thing for me to have, honestly. And I want to make it broad like that, and we can, but talk a little bit about why social media specifically. I'm off of it. Overall, I think the best way to start the conversation and kind of just jump to the point is God deserves every bit of my attention, and He wants my attention. He's also worthy of my attention. He's worthy of my affection. If that's a really weird word to use, He's worthy of my thoughts. He's worthy of my motivation, right? That makes sense? And because He has done everything for me, and also in Scripture challenged and made it very clear to Christians to love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. Yes, I'm 23. That's young. We made fun of me for it already. But I do know for a fact that I've got to be a student of those 3 things now.
Sure, absolutely.
And I've got to be able to think through and reflect on what plays into loving the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And I want to keep it that broad because social media for so many people is something that is helpful.
Sure.
It's something that's a great platform. For me, it was an okay platform. I had a decent, in my finite mind, I had a decent little following going on or whatever that liked keeping up with events I would go to or different things like that. And I would try to encourage people. There were a lot of like people that I do know who consistently said that I was being encouraging to them. And that was nice to hear. But what it was doing all the while was providing me a lot of opportunity to look at what other people were doing as well. And that's where, for me, it got a little messy. And so what do I mean by that? Like looking at other people, well, a couple of things. Definitely the whole comparison thing that can come as a result of social media. It's like, oh man, this other musician's writing music faster than me, putting music out. I'm behind. Or this song just came out and got released. This is John Mayer's new technique, and he's doing this live stream video of this pentatonic riff thing that he's loving and digging right now. And what it was doing to me was like, oh man, creativity. Other people are like being more creative than I am. And I've got to like speed up, or I've got to rush, and I've got to like beat the clock, if I can say it like that. So that was part of it.
At 20 years old, you're like, I'm behind.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm so serious at 20 because what social media does give a lot of people the opportunity to do, and this isn't a criticism, this is just kind of how fascinating social media is. And you can say one thing in one split second on social media, and if the right person or crowd sees it and likes it at the right moment, it can be worldwide. Braden, am I right? It can be worldwide within seconds.
That's true.
And blow up.
Yeah.
You look at young stars, like young musicians who have just taken over like the pop world. Go look at like the number of songs that they've put out. My inclination, my first thought, I would be inclined to think that they probably don't have this library of albums that reflect consistent discipline over years. Now it's like one song that like hit and took off.
Well, and some of that, I mean, a lot of the social media world is driven by algorithm and, likes and views, and they're in that social media marketing world, there are ways to game the system. Is that an accurate way to put that, Braden?
And as we, I don't know if the mic's
come up, Braden.
Yeah,
come over here.
Braden can input a little bit on this.
Hey, y'all. And the further we go along, it's like you have to be more and more outrageous to rise above the cream of the crop, and that is not sustainable. So I wonder how long that's going to go on before people are just doing crazy. It's like you got to outdo it.
It's like the extremes are where you get the attention.
Yeah.
You don't get rewarded for disciplined consistency. And so, to me, that's part of the dark side of social media.
It is
that, you don't get the middle 80% of perspective. You get the 10% on either end that is most extreme, and those are the voices that rise to the top because that creates the most outrage, it creates the most views, it creates the most, the most clicks, which in turn feeds advertising revenue, and that's where. So it's this cycle of extreme. Yes, sir.
Yeah, come on.
I'll share one more thing. When you see an ad with a spelling mistake in it, it's on purpose.
Really?
Because people cannot handle, like the grammar people, they cannot handle when a word is misspelled, so it'll make them comment, which will drive it to the top.
Interesting.
So ads will intentionally call something by the wrong word or misspell something or do something that irks you to get you to engage with it. It's really smart technique and it works, so don't fall for it.
So thanks so much for that.
Fascinating.
What is fascinating along those same lines, and I saw this kind of becoming like a habit in my own life. Like if I hadn't done an event or something in like a while, I was like, oh man, my platform's like shrinking because I haven't been anywhere. I haven't like posted about it. If you remember, I posted a lot.
Yeah, you did.
And I did a lot. And I wanted people to see it. And I thought that in the moment that it was like with a good motivation. I think there was some good motivation there. Like I really do think there was some good motivation, but I think overall it could have been I think there's a possibility that it could have been the fact that I was insecure in the story that God was writing with me. And I was not confident in the fact that, hey, basically his story's enough.
Yeah.
I can be content with his story and with his timing and with his purpose and plan. And so what it looked like practically, man, is like, I think the enemy works like this. I'm reading Live No Lies by John Mark Comer right now. Yeah. And I'm a slow reader and I think a lot as I read. So I'm making my way through the book, but I read a little bit and then reflect on like my whole life. I'm like, whoa, where have I gone wrong? Basically,
right.
If something's true, where did I try to track it. Heard somebody say one time, you fight sin by the cause of it, not the effect. You gotta look.
Get to the root.
Get to the root, right? Get to the root. And so I wanted to get to the root of my mind because I learned, and so thankful for Ashley Moore. Mentioned him last week in the influencer conversation. So thankful for him because he helped me take some really practical steps in examining my own mind and where my mind and my belief system both complement each other and contradict each other. Does that make sense?
So like what you're saying is
break it down. Yeah.
Okay. Over and you tell me if this is accurate. Well,
Okay.
what I'm hearing from you is like social media at first started out as a way to engage with your friends, have fun, post some cool stuff,
Be annoying
post
to your
music.
teammates.
Yeah, text or DM my Wofford football friends,
right,
and teammates. But then over time, it became a source of comparison as you're looking at what other people are doing. It became a source of almost discontentment if you didn't feel like you were living up to the standards set by maybe even people you didn't even know.
Chris Tomlin.
You're looking at as a high schooler,
Joel
early college
Houston
kid,
from Hillsong.
You're looking at all these guys
Love
that are
them
like at
both.
the pinnacle of what they do professionally.
That's right.
And you're like, I'm not there. And so it became a weight.
Yep.
Rather, it became something that added a burden to your life rather than an outlet for creativity, expression, and encouragement. It really sounds like it became a source of discouragement and heaviness.
And along those same lines, absolutely right. Everything you just said, absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Thanks for translating that to like a really clear way to where people can understand it. What's also interesting that I learned was that while it was doing that, it also offered like some answers in those, oh man, I'm missing something, but
here's what you should be doing.
Here's what you should be doing. Here's what you should be looking at, because there's a bunch of trash on social media as well. Mm-hmm. So many things are sexualized. So many things are politicized, and people have a lot of opinions. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to make a sweeping generalization, but I would definitely suggest that most people value their own opinion more than other people's opinions.
And social media is a platform for everybody to have an opinion.
It is.
Whether your opinion is rooted in reality and truth or not. And as Braden just was telling us, the extremes are what's elevated and magnified a lot of times on social media. You're not getting the well thought out, well nuanced, well researched opinions. You're getting, these half baked theories that are that ultimately a lot of times represent the worst of humanity, not the best. And so you mentioned the way that you believed versus how your mind was actually working. And so, on one hand, you've got your faith, your belief, the deep-rooted truths that are right. On the other hand, you're taking in all of this social media world into your mind. And so what you're saying is those two worlds kind of came to a point of conflict.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so the same limits that your body does. Let's just let's look at it like a percentage, okay? Or a pie, if we can do it like that. A pie. I'm serious. Go with me for just a minute. There's 100% of a pie when most people haven't eaten a pre-baked pie. But when you pull the oven door down and you take the pie out, you got all the pie there. Mm-hmm. All right? You start breaking down what occupies your attention, what occupies your mind, what information you throw in your mind, and you say, all right, Twitter's got like a solid 20% of my mind now. Mm-hmm. All right. I love The Office, love Friends. But Friends, after watching I watched 10 seasons of Friends from like June through August. This summer, because
even Braden's impressed by that.
Because some of my
Braden never sleeps.
Because some of my friends some of my friends ironically wanted me to watch it, and so I was like, before I moved to Summerville, we're all going to watch this.
And you did it.
And I did it. And so you take that 30% during that time period. You got Friends and Twitter, The Office and Twitter, two false living realities between The Office and Friends, and then Twitter, where anybody can be whatever they want to be and say whatever they want to say. Then you add Instagram. Let's throw that in there.
Yeah, how many times getting everybody's highlights, the best moments of their life, captured, filtered to perfection?
Sure. But just talk about time.
Yeah,
you're already like half the pie's taken up.
What are they? Is Braden? What's the phrase? Is it doom scrolling? Is that the phrase? Yeah. Where like people just get on social media and they just start scrolling and clicking and clicking, and next thing.
Dopamine.
Yeah, and it's because it's the dopamine hits that your brain likes, and it's like next thing you know, you look up and an hour's gone by, and you're like, but what's going on? What's happening?
Right, and then you take, at the time I was in college, All right, let's add college to that list.
Yeah.
Let's add, the pressure of when I graduated college, finding a place to live, a job that's secure. At the time I was in a relationship. Let's expand. Let's see where that can go. All this stuff plays into like what your attention really says about your beliefs. And then after you've got, those are kind of things that I feel like most people see as non-negotiables, their entertainment, their education, and their occupation.
Sure.
And then you throw family in the mix. Okay. That just got a whole lot more serious because a lot of people have some pretty crazy stories when it comes to family. That's emotional stuff. That's historical stuff. That's like, it's experiential. It can also, make it or break it for you. A lot of great families, et cetera. And then you're like, all right, let's take those things that I can't really ignore and let's try to work in and slide in my own personal faith. And let's take in how much time am I spending filling my mind with like what's true? Because what does the Bible say in the New Testament? It says whatever's good, whatever's pure, whatever's honorable, think on these things. If you're not thinking on those things, how in the world is Sam Lawson in 2023, 2022, 2021, how is he going to operate and think? He's not. He's going to end up like I did, dealing with some pretty negative thoughts pretty regularly, feeling sorry for himself, feeling anxious. And I am worked up right now because it's so real and it affects so many more people than people are willing to talk about. But I was given some great advice by Ashley, and it was just so blunt. We were eating wings, dude. We were eating wings at lunchtime, and Ashley said, man, do you think that God depends on your social media platform to accomplish what he's going to accomplish through you?
And that's the lie, right? That I've got to be present in this space because everybody's present in this space and this space can't make it without me. But even though it's mentally messing with me and leaving me in this dark place. I got to be here. I need to be here.
I need to. I have to. I'm worried if I'm not here. I feel disconnected. You know what's been crazy as a result? And this is some stuff that we can celebrate through. In this conversation, we can really have this conversation for like hours upon hours.
But not today on the podcast.
But what is true and cool is since then, you know how much more creative I've been? As far as like having space to think. Having inspirational thoughts to actually write songs about, space and time to read the Bible. And you gave me some great advice, some of the best that I've ever been given. Do you remember when you said this to me on the phone? You said, man, for the next little bit, this was kind of right after I just put off of social media, and I was thinking about a lot of stuff at that time. And you said, stop trying to turn what you're walking through into applications for other people. Stop trying to turn them into phrases of lyrics and melodic little sequences and patterns. You said, stop trying to write and just go to God, just go to his word for more of him. You said, and as a result of that, if he gives you a song, great. If he doesn't, you still have God.
That's it.
Which is every bit of enough for me. That's sufficient. It's plenty. It's more than I deserve, and that has led to even more thoughts. And here's just a challenge, I guess, to the listeners and to peers or people who are older. If you haven't spent time learning about what occupies your mind,
that's good. Simple
encouragement, do it.
No, man, I love that. I love that at 23 years old, you're thinking at that level, going, hey, what is filling my heart, my soul, my mind? What is getting my attention, my affection, my time? Jesus said, where your treasure is, there your heart will be. And a lot of times we make the application there to, he's talking about where your money is, where your resources are. But
that's right.
I think it can also be where your attention is, the things that occupy your mind, the things that mentally take up time and space and effort, that really is a great check on where our hearts are. So, I think that's a great encouragement today, just to ask the question, is my social media usage adding value to my life? And if it's not, how can I use the platform for good, for the glory of God, or maybe for a season, would it be helpful for me to create some space in my life so that I can hear from God? Really, that's, I think, to me,
I would even say
the heart of what we're saying.
I would even say make it bigger than social media.
Sure.
What in your life occupies the space in your ears?
That's good.
What occupies it?
What voices have your attention? And I love the verse that you were quoting earlier, Philippians 4:8. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there's anything excellent, anything worthy of praise, think about these things. And then Paul says, what you've learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things. And here's what you said earlier, the God of peace will be with you. And that's the goal.
Amen.
That's the
Amen.
goal.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, close it out.
Like this is like the opposite of a joke. This is so serious, and this whole episode and like the content, like you said, man, I'm so proud of you for being like 23 and recognizing this. The point that I recognized this was when I was on my back, like crying and shaking, and like there was nothing else to run to other than my father, who's like, Sam, I've been here the whole time, bro, and you haven't even noticed me. Yeah. Pay attention. I'm here.
Wow.
That's it. Like, I mean, and I say that not to like put a Debbie Downer on the day because it's raining outside today, but I say that because there might be somebody next to you at work, or there might be somebody who's in your family that's in the back seat that you just need to ask, man, how can I help break down what you're taking in?
Yeah. What's really going on?
What's really going
inside?
on?
Where's your mind? Where's your heart?
Let's stop playing the game.
That's it.
Let's just stop playing. It ain't time to play.
No time to play the game.
No
time to play the game. That's it. And Jesus came to renew, to redeem, to restore. Yeah. And that's what we're believing for you, wherever you're at today, whatever's going on in your life, that God's got the power to redeem what the enemy has done in your life. He's got the power to restore, in the language of Scripture, to restore what the locusts have destroyed. Yeah, and that's a great little metaphor. There are a lot of little locusts that will destroy your peace, rob you of your joy, just darken things in your mind. And we serve a God who has the power to break through with His light into those settings,
and who actually already says He is victorious over those things.
That's good stuff.
Embrace the victory that you already have in Christ.
Oh, good word, man. Hey, we've talked long enough for today. Let's shut this episode down. Just a reminder, new podcast is going to drop every Monday, new schedule there. And that's so that we can get feedback from you before we do our next episodes. We want to hear from you. You can send us an email. You can give us a call at the church office. You can reach out to us on social media. And we're going to use social media for good. Just not Sam. But if this is helpful, if this is encouraging, if you're enjoying what we're trying to accomplish here, like this podcast, share it, rate it, review it, share it on your social media. Let's flood social media with good and help Braden with his job.
That's it.
Braden, thanks, man, for being here with us today. Sam, dude, seriously, thanks so much for sharing your story. We'll be back next Monday. Thanks for listening to the Lawson Brothers podcast. Have a great Blue Flame day.
See ya.